All right, welcome to the channel. This is Texas Silver. I'm here with Jeremiah. We're actually at the airport. Jeremiah put out a video last night. I wasn't feeling that great and I was exhausted, so I didn't end up in that video, but check his video out. But we did make it to Alabama
Video
now.
dropped this morning.
Okay, video dropped this morning.
Yeah.
He's gonna drop another one, I think, this evening. But made it to Alabama. Everyone made it safe. No hiccups. So that's good. I'm actually at the airport about to take off, but we're going to talk about a couple things real quick before I get out of here while I have Jeremiah still with me. So I know I talked about this, I think, in my last video, but I have another order with SD Bullion, and I made a phone call to them just to see, where the order was at, because the first one came within a week. And so I spoke with one of the gentlemen's over there, and he said that they are slammed. Well, I said, are y'all slammed? And he said, beyond slammed. Understatement. That's right. It was an understatement. So we just talked about this in the other video. If you want these metals, you may want to do it. We had a pretty good pullback this morning. It may change by the time you see this video. In silver, gold is up $20. I think silver's pulled back 50 cents. So again, not financial advice, but I think it's going to keep going up from here. So any little pullback we get is a gift. Any thoughts, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I think we're pulled back about 51 cents this morning. Again, who knows where that's going to be when this video airs. But if people are looking for the pullbacks, today's probably a great opportunity. So if bullion dealers like SD Bullion have been busy to really slam the past week, today they're going to be really slammed because people are going to take advantage of a 51 cent pullback, because it's not going to last very long. Get ready for the next all-time high.
Yeah. So, and we had a lot of time obviously on the road, and we were watching a video, and there was a YouTube channel that was pushing a certain metal company, and I'm not going to mention the name, but so I went and checked it out, and I've talked about this on the channel too. Be wary of bullion dealers that don't have their prices or have the spot price for the metals on their website. So I had to call and talk to a person to get their prices. And I said, why don't y'all have them posted? And he said, well, the prices change every second. And so when I was on the phone with him, I acted like I was completely new to this, clueless, but just asked him some questions. I asked him about Silver Eagles, and their prices were pretty fair on that. But then I asked him about Gold Eagles and the Gold Buffaloes, and they wanted what, almost $300, around $300 more than what SD Bullion is charging. So do your due diligence, do your research. If you're new to this space, call around, call multiple companies, and make sure that you are getting the best price. I know there's certain companies out there, that have sales on certain things, so shop around. But yes, SD Bullion is a great company to buy from. Again, Texas Precious Metals is a good company that I buy from. There's a lot out there. In the comments, there are probably going to be people that mention other places. Just do your research.
Yeah, my problem with that is, and I talked about it on my video that dropped this morning, is if you're brand new to the metals game,
right, and
somebody says, hey, well, that's the price, and that's that's the normal, that's what we charge over spot. We charge what is that, over $400,
right,
over spot. And SD was charging over $100, so it was a $300+ difference. And some people new to the game are going to be like, oh, okay, I guess that's how it's done, $400 over spot. No, that to me is highway robbery, and they're gonna, they're taking advantage of people, no doubt. And when you asked the silver price, 56 for Eagles, 56 and change, we didn't ask what the price they were charging for the other rounds or coins. It could have been the same.
Right.
I know Eagles are a premium, but we didn't ask what they were charging for Buffaloes or, Cougarans or Philharmonics or Maple Leafs, any of that. So they might have been charging 56 for all of them. Who knows? But that's disturbing that they were charging $400 over spot for a Buffalo. and even an eagle. So you really do have to do your due diligence. Call around. I mean, obviously, you know, I deal with SD bullion specifically, but there's some great bullion dealers out there, but there's also some bad ones. And you know, when times get really almost, you're going to start seeing in time FOMO in the metals, and this is where you have to be really, really careful, because you're going to have scrupulous companies coming in, taking advantage of people, and even selling fake gold and silver. So you got to be really careful out there who you're dealing with. You know, if you're going to do this, make sure you have a good relationship. I've been dealing with SD bullion for years. You've been dealing with SD bullion for years. But now that, you know, this is going to get trendy at some point, right?
Right.
We're going to see bubbles in the metals market. Maybe not this year or next year, but it's coming, because I think this is going to be a run for years. But at some point, you're going to see a massive bubble. You're going to see players getting into the precious metals game, and they're going to try to make a lot of money, and they're going to try to rip people off, because people are getting scared. They don't really have a background in the precious metals. It's kind of something that your financial advisor is not going to talk to you about, because they don't make money at it. So it's kind of like sometimes the wild, wild west out there. So make sure you're dealing with solid companies, because as this gets more popular, you're going to see more fraud, more criminals get into this and taking advantage of the trend.
Yeah, and what's unfortunate is these people, they finally like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then they go to one of these companies and they get burned, and then they're like, no, I never want anything to do with metals again. Yeah. So it hurts the community, the space. So that's, you know, there's that. Also, this company had a really good rating through the Better Business Bureau, and I was, you know, seeing red flags. Also, when I talked to the guy, you know, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm new to this, you know, I played like I was completely new to see if he would try and take advantage of me. And I was like, you know, what do you recommend? And he couldn't really recommend anything. He kind of gave me some really vague answers. And I'm like, bro, if I was trying to sell metal, I'd have been like, you know, I recommend junk silver because of this, that, and the other. But he was just like, well, you know, some people
look at the website and call me back.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, what is going on here? So yeah, just be careful who you're buying from.
And we were watching a show yesterday. Somebody got ripped off on a 100-ounce bar, fake.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. 100 ounces, 100-ounce bar, fake. So you got to really, really be careful out there, because you need to know that your stuff is real and that you got the best possible price, because when this thing hits the fan, you know, you want to have faith that your precious metals are real. So be very, very careful out there.
Right. And so this company had a couple, I wouldn't say really big name celebrities that were associated with it, but just be careful of that. If there's some sort of politician or something that's advertising for this company, these companies that rip people off, they can afford it because they're ripping people off. And so what they do is they suck people in because they're like, oh, you know, such and such says this is good to go. And so you're like, I know him, he seems reputable, so this must be a reputable company. And a lot of times the celebrity doesn't even know. They just want their $100,000 or whatever they're getting paid.
Cryptos, right? Yeah. Celebrities, athletes, you know, people like that pushing this stuff. Yeah, they don't even probably know. They're just getting paid. So yeah, be careful out there. I mean,
yeah, and I've heard nightmare stories that there's companies out there that are even worse than this. The premiums are even higher. So this place would have.
It's not illegal to charge a high premium. It's not illegal.
Yeah.
You just want the best possible deal. So nobody's breaking the law. Nobody's accusing anybody of doing that. But price gouging is price gouging. So don't get ripped off.
Yeah. So. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Cool. I guess we're going to leave it there. I'm going to do a little bit of more video, I guess, probably when I get home. But I just want to thank Jeremiah again for everything.
Thanks for coming
out. Yeah, we had a good time. One of my best friends. So I told him I was going to do it. We've talked about this for probably about.
It's going to miss you.
Yeah, 3 years now in the making. Finally did it. Again, I'm proud of him that he finally pulled the trigger. But he was smart about it, calculated about it. Where me, I would have probably. Made some rash decisions, but he was very calculated, and I got to commend him for that, because I probably would have spent a lot more money, and, you know, because I was just like, dude, you need to get out. But he is out now officially. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be any more videos from California. They should all be from here. But I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll do some more later on. Peace. Check it out on YouTube. Well, this is going to be my bird to Atlanta. In this huge airport. All right, hey, real quick, the video that y'all just watched was me on the bird flying into Austin. There's a super loaded man in Lee County, Jimmy Leakey. That was his property. Those letters are actually half a mile tall, and the entire word, it's his last name, is 2.5 miles long. It's massive. I have my buddy Adam with me. I'll talk about him in a sec. But if y'all wanted to check that out, it's in Smithville, Texas. You can see it on the map. It's crazy. I just thought y'all would think that was cool, but that's what it is. Sorry it took me so long to get this video out. The day that I came back, I had my kiddos here, and then yesterday I had jiu-jitsu, and I got caught up with work. But we made that video with Jeremiah, and I didn't want to just scrap it. So that's why there's the 2 or 3 day delay. But anyways, this is my good buddy Adam. He was borrowing a crossbow from me. He is going deer hunting tomorrow, so I was giving him the instruction on how to use it. And so while he was here, I was like, hey, let's talk about metals. But Adam and I met. Him and his girlfriend come out and surf with me on my surf boat. And so that's how we met. We became good friends. Adam is a day trader, and he understands all the technical stuff, all the, all that trading stuff that I don't completely understand. I got him stacking metals, and so I just wanted to bring him onto the show and pick his brain on the action that we've seen over the last month or two. It's been crazy. Today was super, super crazy, but just pick his brain on where he thinks things are going, the timeline and all that, whatever he's comfortable doing. But yeah, so I got Adam stacking the physical metal, and so I guess take it from there. I guess give your, why do you stack metal, and then we can go into the technical stuff if you want.
Yeah, honor to be with Texas Silver. Aaron got me into stacking silver several years ago. Silver, some gold, unfortunately, but mainly silver. And I do analyze it from a technical analysis perspective. So, basically we're in a 45-year cup and handle. We've exploded out of that cup and handle to these new highs. We've retraced a little bit since that 51 plus. Right. A little more consolidation, and I think the sky's the limit. Gold has gone up alongside silver. So that gold-silver ratio that is completely imbalanced is still maintained. Silver has a long way to go. Then you throw into that the continual debasement of the US dollar, nonstop war, record spending, and then all the industrial uses, weapons, EVs, solar panels, data centers, everything. Demand is off the charts. The administration just labeled it a critical mineral. And then you have, major producers that have scaled back some of the open pit mining, and to get some of these new low-grade ore mining facilities up, it's 10, 15-year process. Right.
So today, roughly we had, I don't even remember, it was all over the place it seemed like. But there was about a $3 move from the low to high today. Metals took off this morning, I'm talking silver, and it jumped up. I want to say it was almost up $2.30 or so to the open, and then ended up near the end of the day, it was down, I think, about $1, and then it recovered some of that. As we're making this video, it is Thursday night. What is it? What is the date? Is it the 11th, 12th? I don't know. Anyways, it's Thursday night, and I think silver was already up like 55 cents, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think gold was up maybe $10. I don't remember, but either way, that was the craziest swing that I've ever seen, I think, in history.
Yeah.
To have that big of a swing, and that might have been the biggest move in history too. I don't know, maybe back in 2011 or in the 80s, it might have moved that much, but definitely in recent history, I've never seen silver move over $2 in a day and then have a $3 swing. That was crazy.
Well, in technical analysis, the longer the base, the more violent the explosion out of that consolidation.
Yeah.
So we've been consolidating basically since 2011, that last high. We had a top in 1980, we had a top in 2011, right. And we just busted through those tops. There's no such thing as a triple top. I think, we've got metals now trading, including the coppers, palladiums, gold. They're trading like tech stocks. And you've got banks like UBS who have shorted this thing for 10 or 20 years. Now they're accumulating and they're long silver. You've got major investment banks that are now recommending getting away from that traditional 70-30 stock to bond.
Right.
They're recommending gold exposure. And then you have countries with billions of people like China and India with burgeoning middle class that are now accumulating silver. Again, I think we've only begun this rise.
So, and you may not want to answer this or whatever, but where do you think silver maybe is ultimately going? I guess you could maybe do a short forecast, maybe 6 months out, maybe a year. What do you think, 5-10 years? I'm putting you on the spot, but if you don't feel comfortable with it, then, but.
Yeah, there are technical theories about the depth of the cup and handle and price-wise how much we will explode out of that cup and handle. We could hit 100, we could hit 225, higher than that even.
What's the time frame on that, you think?
That's tough to say. Now you do have, some of these entities that have shorted, the JP Morgans, now everybody's raising their forecasts.
Right.
But also you have to keep in mind that silver doesn't even have to appreciate. All they have to do is keep printing money, keep spending money, keep debasing the US dollar. And silver could just stay static, but as they print more dollars, that silver price is going to go up relative to the dollar. Of course, you've got monster exponential industrial use with silver.
Right.
So you have a lot of different factors commingling here that, I think we could definitely see 55, 60, possibly more than that by the end of the year. And God knows what 2026 will bring.
Yeah, I've been hearing forecasts $60, $70 by the end of the year, and then within the first quarter, $100, and then. But the thing is, we are somewhere where we've never been in history. Silver's been manipulated for 170 years, I believe that's correct. And so, and when we've seen these tops, silver wasn't where it is today, where it's in a deficit, where it's being used for everything AI, electronics, it's the second most versatile commodity just to oil. That's the only one that has, more uses than silver. So I don't think anyone really can predict where this is going because there's so many variables. And I've heard it could go as high as 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1-to-1 with gold. I mean, who knows? Because the thing is, we can survive without gold, I believe, mm-hmm. for the most part. We might lose a couple things. But if we lose silver, like, our modern lifestyle is done. Pretty much everything that we use today that's electronic or whatever is done. I mean, we would go back probably to the late 1800s technology if we didn't have silver.
Without question. Gold is fantastic for your Rolex or to gold-plated AK-47. Silver, satellites, telecommunications. You see all these space stocks, ASTS, AVAV, Rocket Lab, just launching, taking off. The market share that the drone companies are taking. There's silver in all these components. So you have billions and billions of dollars in investment that are gobbling up silver for industrial purposes. So we've seen this explosion. We've actually been praying for a pullback to possibly dollar cost average into some more physical. And then also you've seen a lot of activity with the miners. Miners have exploded, super volatile. You have people that have never even thought about silver in the early 20s, and now that it's reached 50, I'm getting phone calls from friends, family, people I went to junior high school with. What's going on with silver? Where can I buy it? What should I be buying? Should I be buying numismatics? Should I be buying bullion, coins? They have no idea, but everybody's excited about it.
Yeah, so what does that tell you? So where are we at in this silver thing? Do you think planes on the runway? Are we just taking off? Where do you think we're at on this?
I think we're in takeoff mode. Yeah, we're idling and we're ready to throw the thrusters on.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So it was funny because Adam was telling, because I got him doing this, probably 4 years ago, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
And he was one of the few that actually listened to what I had to say. And I mean, I've had a lot of people that I think they agree and think, oh yeah, I should do that, but they don't take action. And I guess it's because they're putting their fiat, towards something else or, whatever. But for whatever reason, they don't do it. And now all of them are like, I should have listened to you. But Adam was one early on that listened. And I kept asking him, because he's got a lot of buddies that, are, in trading and, stock market and all that. And he's just like, no, they won't drink the Kool-Aid. And then now all of a sudden they're waking up and what are they buying though?
They're messing around with the SLVs, the ETFs, all the nonsense.
Right.
A little bit of junk silver, some coins, in a small way. And, where do I keep it? A depository? Do I keep it in my safe? Do I bury it in my backyard?
Yeah.
Lots of questions, but the excitement's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the sky's the limit. But anyways, Adam, I don't have a really large circle. Adam's one that, I can trust. If the poo hits the fan, he's going to be one of the ones that's coming over to my place or wherever we end up to take care of business. So, again, be careful who you keep in your circle, and Adam brings a lot to the table, and so that's why he's a part of it. He's big into hunting, can do all the skinning and all that stuff. Which I mean, I've hunted, but I'm not on his level of cleaning the animals and all that. I can get it done, but he's definitely an asset when it comes to that. And then he's got training and tools and all that when it comes to security and all that stuff. So, but I appreciate you doing this video with me. I kind of threw this on him last minute. I was like, hey, let me bring you onto the show. I think you bring, value to the show, and that's why I brought you on. And you're actually, besides Jeremiah, I think you're the first one I've brought onto the channel.
Well, I can't thank you enough for getting me into the metals game. Aaron is a rare combination of Neanderthal and intellect, and he's taught me a lot about weapons and introduced me to great people. And we're all kind of like-minded. We're forward-thinking. We're kind of seeing the direction society is going, the economy in general. And so be prepared, take steps. Obviously, you've got your your weapons, your stored food, your water. We're always thinking about these things and talking with each other to be prepared. And physical metal, especially silver, is going to play into that.
Yeah, and you don't have goats, right? But I know you have the chickens, right?
Yeah,
And
dying
I thought you
for
have
goats.
chickens. But
Do have
yeah,
chickens, yeah.
but yeah, and then you'll have a garden.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I got him doing the chickens, and I think the garden, that's obviously not in my wheelhouse, but anyways, all right, I guess we're gonna leave it at that. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and until the next one, take care.